This is episode 86, and I am your host, Autumn Carter. Today, I have with me Sherelle Marquez. She is a thought leader, author, and founder who guides divorced women through transformative changes, drawing inspiration from her own journey of overcoming a devastating divorce. Welcome to Wellness in Every Season. We talk all things wellness to help you align yourself, align with your goals, find balance in your life, and just recalibrate yourself. If you are listening for the first time, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And let's get started in the rest of the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Autumn. Hello to your amazing audience. I'm a transformational coach for divorced women. When we say divorce coach, it implies guiding women through the process of divorce. However, that's not where I come in. I come in when the papers are signed and they still feel stuck. They think, oh my gosh, I should be farther along. Why am I repeating the same patterns of just attracting the wrong people? Let's say that they're ready to date. So I come in after the fact and I guide them to reinventing themselves and their lives. And yeah, that's where it's at.
This feels so aligned. I wish I could say I planned this out, but I did not. The person I interviewed right before you, she calls herself the breakup doctor. It's for people who are thinking, should I break up with them? Should I not? So having you come on as my next interview after her is just so aligned, so perfect. Yay. I'm really glad that you already differentiated yourself. You are after that when you're just stuck, you're dating the wrong people, or maybe afraid to date again. Tell us more about that. And then I'm really excited to hear about your journey.
Thank you, Autumn. The reason why I am really focused on that part of the journey is because I was so lost and disconnected after being married for 13 years and did not realize that I was codependent because I never had an opportunity to get to know myself. And I got married when I was 22. You're looking back, what did I know about life at that point? Fast forward to the end of my marriage when I discovered that my ex was having an affair. I knew right away that I was not going to have that because I knew I deserved better. My children deserved better. And from that point on, I said, you know what? Divorce is what's going to happen. I'm a high performing woman, and that's why my target audience is also high performing divorced women. My friends even thought I was like an alien. When are you going to break? Because they're seeing me purging my house, selling my ring, buying a bicycle, doing these things very robotic. And then a month later, the feelings hit, the emotions. It was the first time in my life I've ever experienced depression. In fact, Autumn, I didn't even know what depression felt like. I could only articulate it as a dark cloud hanging over me. I felt like I lost my mojo because I didn't know how to name it. I had no idea what these feelings were, like anxiety. I'm a happy person. And even having my child go through cancer when he was 3 years old and I was 6 months pregnant at the same time, several years before my divorce, it was still very painful, but it was a different kind of pain. This one was a personal journey. The other one started my transformation with holistic lifestyle, like really leaning in faith. But this one was different. It was a process of self-discovery. And so that's why I'm so passionate about helping divorced women reconnect with the truth of who they are, because we women, we are so amazing. I will leave it at that.
Why did you know that you were worth more than that? More than sticking around? Speak to the women who are struggling at that point in life.
I knew what I brought to the table, and I was not afraid to eat alone. I knew my value. I knew my worth. I know that I was not perfect by any means, but I definitely gave my best. And there's something to be said when you give your best, not perfect. And your best could be 60% one day, your best could be 90% one day. But when you give something your best, you have no regrets because you did the best that you could. That's why I was not afraid to say, I don't deserve this, and neither do my children.
And in your outline, you said that you wanted to get rid of the preconceived notion that it is a broken home. How does that correlate with you giving your best to your children? Speak to this part of how it's not a broken home and how it can actually be so much better. Like you
Yeah.
divorcing him was better than you sticking around. Speak to that for those women.
I knew myself enough at that point that I was going to be very distracted with questioning whether or not my husband is being true to me, which takes away my focus from being present with my children. My number one ultimate goal is to be the best mom I can be. If anything or anyone is going to take me away from being the best mom I can be, it has to go. And I was in love. We were married for 13 years, but that is not enough for me to stay in a situation that's going to make me unhappy, which means my kids are going to have an unhappy mom. And what kind of life would they have? Research has shown that it's the mother's happiness that carries through to the children. I am very passionate about breaking the stigma that children of divorced homes are broken. That's not true. My kids are resilient and thriving, but it starts with the work we do with ourselves as the mother, as a single mom. That doesn't come because you made a decision to get a divorce. No, you have to do the work.
Maybe that's why you bought a bicycle.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Hey, this ring is not serving any purpose, neither is all these other memories. So let me just buy myself a bicycle and have some peace of mind. That was my time. And my gosh, I don't know. I was like Lance Armstrong, two testicles though.
Maybe without the steroids. But
Right.
anyway,
Yeah. Natural and also with two testicles. That's how hard I was pedaling because all my emotions, I was just pouring out into my workouts, the bike, the anger and frustration. I gained 28 pounds in 8 months, not even knowing that this was emotional eating at its core. My go-to were chips. I read a book called In Light of the Moon, and it tells you that the different types of food represents an emotion. So for me, the chips, the crunching was anger and frustration. And it was so timely and perfect because I was going through the paperwork and he was still in my home. I could create stability for my kids as he figured out his living situation. My body showed the stress, the chaos. It took me 10 years to even grow a couple inches in my hair because it was falling out. I didn't even realize it was falling out, but finally my hair started growing when the dust started settling and it grew a crazy amount, like 4 inches in a year. It was insane.
she has
But
beautiful hair.
thank you.
It looks
Yeah.
very healthy and thick. So people who can't see her, it looks great on this.
Okay. So hair was falling. Now it's better.
Thank you for speaking to that. I was often told I grew up in a broken home because my parents were divorced, but no, it was all the trauma and abuse and everything else. So what I was thinking when you were talking about that is how it can be a broken home with the family still intact because it
Oh,
is broken, abusive, screaming, or maybe silent treatment. Maybe it's just really quiet and isolated. There's so many different ways that it can be broken with the family still intact because they're living under the same roof. Are they really
right.
intact? That's a different story. Thank you for speaking to that. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about what you're really here to talk about, which is what you do and how you work and your ideal clients. Let's talk about the stuff you're more passionate about.
Oh, I'm passionate about all of it. The intensity in which I tell my stories is because I have a very vivid imagination. Even when you're watching a movie, you get emotionally tied. So there is emotion to it, but the pain is not there. It's the memory. So that's why it's so strong. Maybe it's in my voice, how passionate I am, but that's why for me, this is one of the biggest things, legacy I can leave here in this earth, besides raising two solid men. They're young men right now, but yes, going back to your question, Autumn, I love helping divorced women who are just lost and they are telling themselves, wait a second, I'm a high performer. I'm a professional. And so I don't understand why I'm making bad choices. My divorce happened a year, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, 5 years ago, and yet I'm stuck. It's Groundhog's Day and I'm just getting by. That's where I come in because I experienced the same thing. There's a time and a place for traditional, conventional therapy. Unfortunately for me, it didn't work. I needed something more. Even though I spoke to 3 different therapists, the conventional ways didn't apply for me. Like a lot of it was more talk therapy, as opposed to what I love about coaching is that it's not perpetual. There is an end date. We have a goal, and that is to do the inner work. I'm a guide. I'm a mentor. I see myself as a guide and a mentor because truthfully, Autumn, you probably already know this. Inherently, we have all the answers within ourselves. It's just the process of undoing all of the programming that we have been taught and conditioned from the time that we have been in our mother's womb in the third trimester. This is what epigenetics talks about. Your environment shapes up until the age you're 7. So can you imagine being told you're this, you're that, and then you go through life with different sets of conditioning programming? We're not taught anything that would help us in real life, I believe. Reading, yes. Math, some, yes. But unless you're going to be like a mechanical engineer, you're going to be a math teacher, teach us how to be a good person. Teach us fundamentals like financial literacy. You look at where America is right now with all the debt. That's a whole other podcast. That's why I resonate so deeply with my clientele because I've been there. I've made all the mistakes and it doesn't have to be that way because I've already done it. It's been tried and tested from personal experience, not just theoretically. You can't read things off a book and not have the life experience. And that's why my transformations with my clients quick and powerful and everlasting because I teach them all the tools. And the tools are a blend of empirical science, alternative healing modalities. I'm trained in past life regression hypnosis, so I deal a lot with the subconscious mind. I'm also trained in Reiki, energy healing, with all of these different components plus personal life experience. You want to heal? I don't take everyone as a client. They have to go through a whole process. I'm only working with women who are serious that they want change. If you're wishy-washy and you're not sure, I could have the magic bullet, but unless you do the practical application, it's not going to work.
It's not one of those take my money and yay, I'm healed. You have to put in the deep work to actually have the healing. It's like a deep wound and you need to heal it layer by layer. You could have the little scab on top, but when there's that deep wound, that scab, if anything happens to it, that deep wound is still there. You need to heal all the deep layers. What
Thank
I
you so much,
love
Autumn.
about coaching is you don't have to have the answers as a coach. It's
If the-
giving space for other people to have the answers, giving them tools from your toolbox, asking questions, and most of all, just giving them the sacred space for it.
Meeting them where they're at and guiding them, illuminating the fact that you are this powerful and infinite being. I forgot for so long with all of the different roles that we play, especially as women. My culture is Filipino. My gosh, all the traditions. When I made a decision that I wanted to get a divorce, a lot of my family who are very traditional said, I don't think that's a good idea. Give him a chance. And I told them how, like, they're like, give him a chance. It's an accident. I'm like, how the hell is cheating an accident? Like his penis fell accidentally. You know what? No. So, yeah, I've always been not necessarily the black sheep, but the different one from the family. Like I like crystals. Filipinos don't do that. They're very hardcore religious, and spirituality is just a new concept now. As consciousness shifts collectively, they're also waking up to it. Thank God. In my She Thrives Academy, I teach all of these things, and the framework is Phoenix Rising because truly you have to die the old version of you to emerge into something better. Whatever that better is to you, that's your choice, what that looks like for you. And I'm their guide and mentor.
What is the name of your book?
Yes, when I filled out the form, I was just an author, and now I'm a best-selling author. It is an anthology, a collaborative book called By the Light of the Moon. We hit number one in 4 categories: women's inspirational spirituality, and all those different things. So pick it up, guys. It's available at Barnes and Nobles or Amazon. It's called By the Light of the Moon.
And she will give me the link, so it will be in the show notes and in the transcript, so you will find it. Okay, so there was one other thing that I wanted to ask you about. You have a really great place for us to connect with you in a free way when we're not ready quite yet, just so we can be nurtured along the way as we're figuring out which direction we need to go and letting some of that dust settle before we're ready to work with you. And it looks like it's on Instagram, and you have freebies on your website, and we can get
Yeah,
onto your email list. So tell us about those things.
Autumn, because I know how to quantum leap, I quantum leap myself in my life too with my hyper focus on business. I have a podcast too, and I don't think I mentioned that.
It,
I have so much respect for you, a podcaster. I did not know how much it took to have a podcast. I thought I was going to write a script, record it, and then upload it. And that was that. Oh my gosh, there is so much more. So, my podcast is called It Gets Better From Here, because no matter what you're going through, no matter how old you are, it does get better from here. But the choice is yours. So, It Gets Better From Here is released every Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific. And it is designed to help empower and provide free tips and resources to divorced women and single moms. I have solo episodes. I also interview some phenomenal guests. And also, Autumn, I'm so excited to share this. Season 1, maybe 2 weeks ago, I just started season 2. And after the first season, we have already hit the top 10%.
that's amazing. That's a big deal.
Thank you. I'm new to this whole thing, but I'm really excited about that. I'm like, 1% is my goal in 1 year. So to hit that in one season, 10%, I'm like, we're doing something right. And all that means, honestly, is not even about 10%. It's about the impact.
The
The
reach.
more people, which means it's helping more. That is the ultimate goal here, is to have a global impact to help these women and single moms. I'm also going to have my vision in maybe 2-3 years, but who knows how fast it's going to come in, is to have a nonprofit to provide free resources in an immersive way. Like, my academy is an immersive experience. It's not just a module that you're watching. They actually meet with my human design expert. They have 3 hours with a human design expert. And if you don't know what human design is, we can explore that later. But it's basically a blueprint of who you are. No one is like you. It's a powerful way to get to know yourself. They also have 6 sessions with me. And that's why in 3 months' time, unless you just forgot about the academy, there's no way you are going to not change. You can guarantee that you're going to transform.
Tell us about Instagram, your website, and where's your
The
newsletters on your
newsletter.
website, right? Yes.
Yes. My Instagram is at Sherelle Marquez, and it's spelled Sherille. Sherelle Marquez, and all my handles are there. I'm on YouTube, TikTok. I have a Facebook private group as well where I'm more intimate. So if they want to join that, it's called Feel Alive Again After Divorce. My newsletter, they can sign up on my website, Sherelle Marquez. My newsletter is called She Thrives because it is really all about thriving.
And if you want all the things, it sounds like the best place to start is your podcast. Tell us the name about that. I'm sure in the description they can sign up everywhere else, correct?
That's right. Yes. So my podcast is called It Gets Better From Here.
We need that reminder in life, no matter what. Even if we are divorced, we can be so stuck in this trial, in this hardship, that we forget that it's just for now and it gets better. That was something I was reading in one of my books just this week. And I'm not a highlighter or a note taker inside of books, but this one I'm using like a textbook. It's not one I can pass on very easily. But that's something that we need to remember. And I think that goes with the quantum leaping that you do as well.
Yes, Autumn, and I love what you're doing too, raising awareness, and I appreciate you giving me a platform to expand with your audience. When I was going through my healing journey, I was digesting everything. YouTube was my best friend, books, you name it. I was looking for answers. We just don't know how what you're doing and providing with your podcast, how it's going to really help impact people. And it could just be that one thing. So I'm really happy to be here.
Which is why I like to cover a lot of different topics because wellness incorporates everything about us. We spend so much time as moms taking care of everyone else, filling everybody else's cup that we don't take time for ourselves. So this is what this podcast is about. So thank you so much for being on. I know so many women who have been stuck, and it's been 10 years post-divorce, and they're still stuck, or it's been 5, but there's one in particular that I've been thinking of where it took 10 years before she was finally able to let go of some of that anger, because it was also from infidelity, and start to move on. And they were very small steps because she was doing it by herself. I didn't have the tools to help her back then. I was just barely becoming a mom. I did not have any tools in my tool belt to help her. But just seeing how hard it was for her, if we can give people that guiding light, let's do it. So thank you for being on, for sharing all of the amazing ways you have created for people to connect with you and grow. That is amazing. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Autumn. I appreciate you and your audience.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope that you found the answers that you needed and you had some amazing aha moments. Please share this episode with others because it helps us align ourselves and then better align the world so that we can seek the healing that we really are looking for. As part of the legal language, I am a certified life coach with a bachelor's in applied health. That is what I am leaning on for this. This is general advice. Take it as such. See you in the next episode.